A lot of people are like, bro, I don't trust people. I personally have gone really, really singular in my approach in the way that I spend my time. But I promise you, I'm spending literally like 70 to 80 hours a week networking. And whether it's through dentistry or whether it's through meetings or whether it's through sending emails or messages on social media, I'm constantly trying to get around people that I want to be like. And a lot of people are not spending the time to do that, mainly because they don't understand that first concept that giving of yourself is the way to make the most money. I promise you. Because the rich people are doing it, there's a reason. So networking, in a nutshell, is quite simple. First and foremost, it comes down to communication. Warren Buffett says that if you increase your communication skills, you will make every single thing that you touch in your life more productive, significantly more productive. And why is that? Because if you think about it, we're a social animal. Plain and simple, we're a social animal. If we know how to communicate our thoughts, that's the very beginning. Right? We have an idea, we have a certain philosophy, we have things that we want, things that we don't want. To be able to communicate that in a way that the other person understands it, now that's the key. So then the second part is understanding how to listen. A lot of communication comes down to, hey, this person's saying all this stuff. Out of this, what can I infer? What do I think that this person wants? And based on that, augmenting the conversation, augmenting the approach that we have, right? When it comes down to networking, we need to understand that we're dealing with human beings. When it comes down to money, you need to understand that you're dealing with human beings, right? No machine has money for you. Someone else has the money, right? Someone else has that ticket for your freedom, has that ticket for your family to live better, has that ticket for you to feel like you're actually contributing in some sense. So it would behoove every single one of us to improve our communication skills. And what do I tell my interns? I tell my interns all of the time, it does not matter where you are. Get into the practice of improving your ability to, first of all, communicate what you want, and second of all, understand where another person is coming from. What are some strategies for understanding where another person is coming from? Is asking the right questions, right? I have plenty of patients in my dental practice that beat around the bush a lot. They're like, hey, I haven't been to a dentist in a lot of years. I haven't brushed my teeth. I haven't. It's hard at night sometimes. I work these crazy hours. I'm like, okay, I understand. But why are you here? Right? That's the question that I'm asking myself. What brings you here? Is it an emergency? Is it something that you want to improve your outlook on life and actually be able to smile again for the first time in 16 years? What is it that motivates you to get your ass over here? Right? We need to understand that deeply about every single person that we are meeting. And that's why I prioritize having those conversations with people, those vision board conversations. It's like, hey, what do you want to get out of life? Like, what you have infinite variety of different things that you want to do, right? Why do you want to do them? What motivates you? What factors played into this, right? And I'm not sitting there grilling them, but it's a matter of the amount of time that you have and building those circumstances to actually be having those deeper conversations. And the beautiful part about this is that when we figure out what someone wants, when we really figure out what someone wants, we know what they want. we know what we can give them out of ourselves that will be useful to that person, and that builds trust and it builds longevity of relationships. So some of you are headed into situations in life where you're going to have lots and lots of employees, or you're going to have maybe one or two employees, right? A lot of us think, okay, people cost money. Do people cost money? Yes. When we look at it in a scale of right here and now, yes, you have to pay someone hourly for something, sure. But if we train that person, if we understand their motivations, we start to augment our own goals into who they are. They have the ability to network for us. They have the ability to go and be that person while we go and do the thing that we are best at doing. And in the long run, Actually, having employees for a company is very, very important, because expenditure is just as important as making money. It's called cash flow. I want to introduce you to that concept right now. Cash flow is your lifeline, meaning that if you are someone that is making money and storing it all, there is no chance for you to grow. It's an ecosystem. You have to consistently put nutrients in. You have to consistently put the energy in to grow that ecosystem so it has the ability to take on more wealth over time. And that's something that me and Zach talk about all of the time. Talent acquisition. How do we create a large enough network to come across people that are incredible at their jobs and make sure that they stick around? Making people stick around is just communication. Making people stick around is just communication. Now you might be saying, okay, it has to do with goals, dude. If I can't afford it, I don't have the bandwidth necessarily to support the things that they want to talk about or do. Okay, fine. If we communicate with someone based on what their intuition, what their desires are, and we happen to pay them, the chances that they'll stick around, the chances that they'll want to be there are improved drastically. I'll tell you, I have some of my best staff members at the dental practice, right? The reason they stick around is not because of the pay. I'm telling you right now, you might think to yourself, yo, I can pay this guy $50 an hour and I can treat him like shit and he'll stick around. I promise you, they will find any other opportunity to move. When you understand what's inside and where they want to go in life, that's when they start sticking around. When you build a culture that's actually beneficial for everyone around you, a culture of wealth, that's when people start to stick around. When you start winning, when you get those gains, when you get that contract, when you increase your gross revenue, when you show people that, when you talk about it, that's when people want to stick around. And that's why it's so important for us to master consistently putting out the tendrils into our community, consistently going and messaging people that might be in lateral fields, that might be in fields that are completely different to ours, to make sure that A, people know that you exist on this planet, because there's 8 billion of us, and B, that hey, if someone needs something, they know that they might be able to come to you. So that, my friends, is my synopsis currently for wealth and networking. Networking comes down to communication. Sustaining companies comes down to communication and good culture. Warren Buffett invests in culture for a reason. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is the power of thinking big. In life, we tend to dwell on our past. Especially the older we get, we tend to dwell on the failures that we've had. We tend to dwell on the stories that people tell us. Perhaps people that we trust tell us. And I'm here to tell you that if your goal does not match the depth of your soul, if your life purpose does not match how awesome of a person you are going to be incredibly depressed. Like there is no one in the world that can change your life the way that you can. But you have to put in the work. And what's the point of putting in the work when the goal is not worth it? What's the point of showing up every day if there's no point at the end of it? There is none. Setting goals is the key to staying in the consistency game. And I always advocate for setting goals that you barely think, that you barely imagine that you can hit in your life. Because then you can fall on a cloud. Right? My goal is to be a billionaire in my life. And I'm beginning to realize that perhaps that goal is too small. Because the things that I want to accomplish are planetary. And as I start doing all this research on billionaires, and I start doing all this research on wealth, and I start accumulating my network, I'm starting to realize, dude, that's probably too low of a bar for what you're expecting to accomplish. And the reason that we set these big goals in our life is because it gives us a sense of urgency. It gives us a sense of like, dude, you only have X amount of years left. Go and fucking do something about it. Like go out there and put the energy and the effort in. Go and connect with the right people. Don't waste your time on this stuff that society told you is beneficial, because most of society is probably not who you want to be. You want to be you. So be you. Be the most you possibly can be. There's no one else that can touch that. And the happiness and the satisfaction you get out is incredible. So the concept is simple. If you're setting out on something that's useful in your life, make sure to put a number on it. Whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's people, whatever it is, make sure to put a number on it. Then multiply that number by at least 10. Now you have a proper goal. Now you have something to go and aspire towards. Now if you're especially looking to move your ass, multiply that by 100. And then you'll get that sense of urgency. It's like, oh shit, I gotta think straight. I gotta get the right information. I gotta be around the right people. Thinking big has tremendous dividends for not only us, but everyone else around us. Layla Hermosi came up with this, actually no, it was Cody Sanchez. She came up with this phenomenal thing. She was like, okay, there's a piece of paper here. Right, there's this piece of paper. And you're right in the middle of this piece of paper. And as you start increasing in your life, the different points of this piece of paper are going to be your family, your friends, your resources currently, people in your life. As soon as you start lifting this piece of paper, those corners are going to want to stay down. You understand? They're going to want to hold you where you're at. Your job is to move the entire fucking paper up, meaning everyone comes up with you. And that's where the concept of wealth is so incredibly liberating. That's where giving of yourself is so incredibly liberating, because you have to have a level of selfishness which is caused by setting the right big ass goal. And let me end this by saying that, listen, if you're going to set a big ass goal, you better be willing to sacrifice some big ass things in your life. Dwell on that. What are you willing to sacrifice in order to become the most you possible, in order to deliver the you to the world that you deserve? My name is Dr. Turabify. I make videos about emotional intelligence. I also have a couple companies here and there. Some of you guys are my interns. Some of you guys we've met. We're doing business together. But I wanted to definitely introduce my good friend and business partner, Zachary D. Thornton. He is the CEO of ZDT Entertainment. Phenomenal person. Just incredible work ethic, incredible philosophy on life. And I want to make sure that you guys understand that we're doing this because we want to give you guys value, because we are givers. And so Zach owns a media company, and I'm just going to let him riff from here. Whatever he wants to talk about. I was hoping you could touch on why social media and marketing in general are so important. But Zach, go ahead, man. Take it away.
Yeah, if that comes up, it comes up. But regardless of the fact, that was really well said to Rob. The whole 15-minute speech right there. So kudos to you. Do the clicks clapping. My name is Zachary Thornton. We'll repeat that because this is going to be recorded and put out. My name is Zachary D. Thornton, and I'm the founder and CEO here at ZDT Entertainment Studios. We handle a lot of content creation, professional production, audio recording, modeling management, talent acquisition, business strategies, marketing strategies, you name it, animation. We're dabbling into a lot of things. So, the importance of talent acquisition and keeping someone is very high on the priority list here at the studio. So I was digging into a little bit of that, and I like to kind of touch up with my taste on that. And a lot of it is not only just that communication, but it's going to be work satisfaction and how you can make what this person is going to be doing for you as simple and as easy as possible. So then as they're getting paid to do it, not only are they contributing a high amount to the company, but they're also seeing it as easy work and they're enjoying it. And that's going to also help the satisfaction when they get that paycheck. So if you're able to double their job satisfaction, not only with the work that they're doing, but also with the payment that they receive through the effort of work that they're putting out, then you're going to probably keep someone for the rest of your life. I mean, that's how you literally keep them like that. I have not lost a single person because of that. So, I mean, we're 8 months staying strong, and if anything, our team grows. And same with our contracts. We don't lose contracts either because of the quality of work that's put out from these creatives because they love their job. And if you make a job lovable, they're going to push out quality, and that also keeps your company alive. Because you can't just be a one-trick pony, and you can't come out and get famous and then put out a bunch of crap because then you're going to fail. You have to be consistent with quality because there's only so many mouths that can speak, and your reputation can get ruined just by a few. So you have to be very wary with, like at least in the media and content industry, the way you service individuals, because that can really come and bite you in the ass come in the future if you want to grow and scale up. If I was here for money, if I was here for a short-term gain, I wouldn't care about my clients. So I'd, put them on simple structures and just milk them every month, and they wouldn't go anymore, and they wouldn't see anything, and they'd complain about me to everyone that they meet because they, wasted their investment on the studio, and they saw no necessarily gain. If we invested 100% of our quality into a client, and they are then seeing somewhat of a return, maybe even one that capitalizes off of the opportunity that we're giving them, i.e. they're making more money off the contract that they're paying, then we're able to provide them a value that not only they're able to write off, but they're necessarily going to be with us forever because they're paying this amount, but at the end of that month, because of our services, they're making more than that amount. So not only are we now talking about keeping a like a talent in your internal system forever, now we're talking about how do we keep that money coming in forever. And that's exactly how you do that, is you find a value that is so valuable that if they lose you, they're losing a part of them. And if you become that valuable, you will not fade away. You're a lifeline to it. And that's why digital content and digital media, if we want to transition into the importance of this, is the future. It is what we're talking about. We literally have memes now where we have older generation businessmen posting memes like, wow, this is what we're doing. Like, we're making content for our company. Like, I wonder what business people would think 100 years ago from now. But they're now, the perspective in that, at least in my perspective, is that this industry and media is overtaking everything, and it's forcing you by 2024 to be involved in it if you're a company. And if you're not, you're going to just fail. You're going to fail because of lack of information, and multiple things I can get into. It's not on the top of my head right now. If you're able to necessarily cover all those things for that individual that doesn't know how to do these things, you're able to allow them to focus 100% on what they truly do. And that's run the company. That's run their operations. That's what they've been doing. They don't want to get into this digital mess, not only because they don't know how to, but because they're scared. So if you're providing something that is ultimately needed for a business's success and growth in this day and range, then you're going to be able to scale it up exponentially. And that's kind of like what we're seeing right now. And to help grasp that growth and to keep up with it, we have to now set anchors into the community, I like to say. And one of them is creating this club at Warwick Community College called the Business and Creative Arts Club. This with aims to not only provide value to the students in the local community and to battle the student retainment issues at Warwick, but to hopefully be a talent acquisition generator in a sense, where we're able to donate opportunities, equipment, and expertise from the studio to the club in exchange, and even internship opportunities in exchange for the presence there and the marketing that the club's able to provide for the studio. And in return, will we then see people that are interested because of the like-minded individuals that we were able to target by getting them into the club, because the club's specifically for like this in that sense. They were able to see, wow, we have a straight shot right to, the open door that I want, and we're going to start seeing a lot of more positions filled as we start taking up more contracts that require those positions. So scaling up is nice and all, but you have to remember that 80% of companies fail because of indigestion. And what does that mean? Indigestion means you're taking on things a little too much and you can't digest it all. You can't service everyone at once. The quality isn't that good. And companies lose their rep and they ultimately lose employees because of that. If you want to scale accordingly, you need to make sure not only all systems are set and in place, but you have the right resources to get the job done. And if I'm scaling up, great, and my work's great, and I got a bunch of people calling me, great. But if I just booked 5 video shoots for Tuesday, and 2 of them are in the same hour, and I'm one person, I'm sorry, one of those guys are getting gypped. It just is what it is. So in order for me to scale accordingly, I need more resources. I need more manpower in that case. I need more camera operators. So, you have to keep that in the back of your mind as a leader and as a business owner that wants to scale, that there has to be systems set in place before you can do so, or else you're going to fail and you're going to lose your work that you just got. To go into media and to go into digital key trends in a sense, I like to say that I'm proud that not everyone that works here at the studio has to be at the studio 100% of the time, and that's something to take in consideration as we move forward going into future work trends, because people do not all the time want to be inside the office. Not all the time do they want to be at a said location. So if you're able to get a system set where that creative individual or business individual can knock out tasks from pretty much anywhere around the globe with Wi-Fi connection, then you're going to be able to also expand your potential talent but by 100, if not 100,000, because most of the time people are looking for locals who can come in. And if you don't have any creatives in your local area, you're pretty much screwed. So that's where networking and coming together, through social media and all these other digital channels is kind of key, because you're then expanding your opportunities to other states as well. You're building your team. Now, as you're scaling up, you're able to get work not only just in that one area that you're usually getting work in. You're able to go out and get it elsewhere. So I like to conclude with one thing, and that is to take what you're trying to do and dumb it down as to as simple as you can. I'm trying to word this good. Take your expertise and make a list of what you do. After you make a list of what you do, dumb down each bullet point on how to do it. After that, find ways to make each bullet point more easier for you. Either if it's changing your perspective, if it's new equipment, whatever it may be. However you can find a way to make that bullet point easier, do it, and do it for all of them. Once you do that for yourself, you're able to do that for other people. And that's basically how you find a route to good job satisfaction. And out of anything today, that's what I wanted to promote the most is, how do you get someone to do work for you, but also love that job. Because at the same time, I want to provide opportunities as a CEO. I want to provide opportunities to people for jobs, but at the same time, I want them to be living their dream job. So how do I create that for them? So, you know, that's one of the things that you can take that first step on creating that, dream environment for these new prospects. So, my name is Zachary D. Thornton, and I conclude my statement. Thank you to Rob for the opportunity to speak.
Hey man, it's my pleasure, and hopefully, I got something out of what Zach just said. So, hopefully, you guys got something out of what we just said. That's kind of the point of this webinar is to contextualize kind of, listen, like there's people doing shit out here, like go find them and help them make your life better by doing that. Just give to the big people as much as you can and become bigger yourself. So I wanted to open this up to some questions. I'm curious what you guys anything that you guys are thinking about, anything you wanna talk about. Me and Zach are here to answer. No problem. Yes, Farhan, what's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, hi, how you guys doing? I talked to you earlier, it's Rob. But how you doing, Zach? Long time no see. But I just had a quick question. So, in terms of talent acquisition, this is kind of more for Zach, but you both are open to answer this. In terms of talent acquisition, how do you know how to identify the right type of people that can get the work done and get it efficient, right? Because there's a lot of talk about keeping the right people around, but how do we get to that step?
Are you talking about through social media or through a physical aspect, like through
any means that you think works best?
So you got like two answers to this, because one is the easy answer, and that's social media, and you can take what you know about yourself and what you're doing, and if you understand, that's great. And if that's a true statement, and you in your heart down deep know that's true, and that's no bullshit, right? Then you can then take what you understand as your talent and see online when someone not only matches that, but exceeds that. And now you understand who to hit up. And a lot of the problems that we overthink about, even with numbers, say this guy has 300,000 in following, even with numbers, we overthink like, wow, he's probably got a lot of requests, or maybe he's not gonna. This is all things that just involve us. When most of the time, the issue at hand doesn't involve us. Maybe they didn't get back to the text because they were busy, or maybe someone else manages the account, et cetera, et cetera. So take that risk, right? Send that DM and say, yo, this is what I got going on. This is my dream. This is my vision. This is what I'm trying to build. Would you like to be a part of it? You have to understand, you're selling not a price, you're selling the dream. You're selling the vision. And that's to anyone. That's even in person. That's physical. So if you're able to sell that dream and sell that vision, you get that interest, you then craft that interest and build up from it. So to then find someone physically, you'd have to, I think Mike Tyson said this perfectly at the last Grant Cardone conference he went to. You can smell your enemies, right? You can sense them. It's an energy. So you will feel that out through conversation. You will feel that out through the vibe. And if you take that same perspective through the digital and you try to crack that out of them in person, like, is this guy got the same talent as me, if not more, then you know who to hire. You know who to spend time on. I think the problem that a lot of us find here is not just the right or wrong people, it's wasting the time on the wrong people, okay? So you have to first identify if he's good or not, and then you move forward. That's where a lot of people waste their time at. So if you can crack that code, you're going to find your people a lot quicker. Is that a good answer?
Yeah, that'll do it.
All right. Hey, Tarab, do you want to add to it?
I'm a great answer, by the way, Zach. Thank you for being here. Honestly, I always give people a working interview, dude. Like, Like I don't really. I talked to Zach about this literally earlier today. I was like, dude, you know, if there's a new position, just give them. Okay, if you're gonna give someone a task to do, it needs to have a time frame. There needs to be very specific things that you want them to get done, and that's basically it. A time frame is specific shit. If they can do that, you're good. Like, what else do you need? And most of the time, I also try to find givers in my life. As I was saying earlier, I try to find people that first give and then ask, instead of asking and then giving, because I've found that sometimes people are saying that they're going to give a bunch of stuff, but they're just not capable of doing that, and then you're like, well, shit, okay, I'll have to get rid of you, and then the energy that took kind of was a waste of time. I don't know. That's kind of my short answer for it.
Gotcha.
No, I knew that. Protham, you gotta make that a reel. We gotta get our editors. They're recording this, so we're gonna make them make that a reel. Of course, Ron, it's great to see you. To reply to what you said, definitely a long time to see. As a matter of fact, I will be coming back towards the end of September for a shoot at the practice. So, you know, hopefully I get to see you soon. Maybe I can give you guys a visit at Ohio University. I understand I already have one.
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
It's in Columbus, yeah.
Columbus, Ohio.
We'll make a
I already
trip.
have a friend that gives there as well, so if I...
Well, that makes it easier.
It'd be a really big surprise. They'd be like, what?
So I wanted to open the floor to some more. Do you have another question, Farhan?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, let's get some questions. I'm curious.
Any from Antonio?
Yeah, I was just thinking how I wanted to word this. So, Rob, you were talking about how you like to dream big, and then you like to 10x those dreams and build upon it. And my question is, when you find out what you want to do and how you want to do it, how do you turn that into your dream? Like, how do you look at that and make the steps to get to the point where you can 10x that and then go, okay, this is what I want to chase towards?
So, my dream is to increase humanity's emotional intelligence. I want to be a contributor to our emotional intelligence, because I think that technology is fundamentally going to change our species, and we don't really see this shit coming. But in 100 years, it's gonna be like fucking magic. So how do I do that? First and foremost, I have to take steps every single day to make sure that I am becoming a more emotionally intelligent person. But that requires me to define emotional intelligence. That requires me to define the issue, the problem that I believe is at hand. And that, I think, is the hardest step of the whole equation. It's trying to figure that out. But in doing the shit, in actually being consistent enough to move slightly forward in that direction, that is the only way that I'm going to figure out what emotional intelligence is. There is no one in the world that starts off knowing it, dude. There's like, Jordan Peterson said something really cool. He said we don't pray to know all the answers. The best way to pray, and I'm not a religious person, but the best way to pray is to pray for the path in front of us to be a little bit less dark. We don't know where we're going, you know, but we have a feeling, we have this intuition inside of us that's like, dude, I want to go there, wherever the fuck that is. Like, I want to go over there. So we take all these opportunities and these paths, but really it's going to come down to your discipline. Your discipline and consistency is going to determine the degree to which you're successful. So anything that you guys want to do, literally anything, it is only going to be successful if you do it for long enough. I promise you. There is no one in this world that has not been up to this shit that they're doing really well for 3 seconds, right? They've done it for a number of years, consistently finding opportunity after opportunity, going down this alleyway and being like, oh shit, that was the wrong way to go, turning back this way, making mistakes, being okay with fear. Like, you gotta just go and hit life hard, man. And when you have that inside of you, like, surrounding yourself with the right people, key. fucking absolutely key, because they'll inspire you and basically form the way you think. Discipline, waking up, like having enough reasons to wake up early in the morning and go to sleep late at night. You need to have those fucking reasons. Like, you need to care enough. Networking, just again, people, right? But then also, and me and Zach were talking about this, a little long-winded answer. The soul, dude, the spirit has to align with it. Like, there has to be this emotional connection to things. Otherwise, when it gets hard, you're just not going to want to do it. It's just plain and simple. Like, you have to really want to do it. And then you got to, like, make sacrifices to make sure that your road is, like, clean and you're just moving towards it. Hopefully that answers a part of your question.
No, thank you very much. That definitely opened my eyes a little bit.
Any other questions? Anyone got anything?
I'm sure Spencer has a question, but he's probably going to ask me that later when he comes around. He's currently heading back from an event, so he's in the car with some people.
Oh.
Yeah, he just raised his hand. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Can
man.
you speak? Oh, you're back? Hey, yo, you're muted. You're muted.
My apologies, I was doing some things. Just really quick, how you doing, Turabify?
Yo, fucking chillin', G. Nice to hear from you.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you. So just a little side question. You probably guys didn't really mention it, but so if you were to tell someone your progress, do you think that slows you down with consistency and making sure that you're making the next steps correct? What's your thoughts on that? Like telling people like your process and your progress. Do you think that's like slowing down your like momentum, or what's your thoughts?
Is this a question for me, Spence?
Well, whoever you think.
Okay.
Whoever.
Yeah.
I want to hear Rob's response.
Okay. So, as a leader, it is super, super important for people to know your wins. And for super humble people, it's like, it's harder to do that. But the reason you want people to know about your wins is because, dude, it's like what Zach said, like, you're selling people on your vision, right? And there's the law of synchronicity or manifestation or whatever the fuck. Like, putting your thoughts out there in the world and telling people these things and then actually following through with them is the greatest success that you can ever have in your life. Right? So saying that you're doing all this stuff and not doing this stuff, that's just going to make you feel like shit, and then they're going to find out and you're screwed. All right? Like, you're like internally and externally. But telling people where you want to go, even if you're uncomfortable and not sure that you can go there, that's key. That is essential, because that brings the idea into life. Like, you have to just, like, dude, I'm telling you, you make this life up. Like, straight up. It's straight up magic. Like, you have to put it out there. But do it. Follow through.
Yeah, and in a way that I can respond to help you understand, Spence, it's like, setting that plaque goal, right? But, now, first take what we've had, right? Don't have 100,000 subscribers, that plaque be your goal. That should be what you hit first. You want the golden plaque. You want the 1 million subscriber plaque. And that's what you reach for to secure the 100,000 plaque. Second, to discuss with others, to be on that same page, to be communicative is key for any internal operation, inside or out. Communication is key. So to be able to understand both sides and understand where each side wants to go, so then both sides could work on achieving those things, will be probably the most logical way of getting there, other than just keeping it hidden and not fully telling you where you want to go. Ultimately, you're never going to really get there. Also, if you get there, it's going to be by your own doing, because you didn't tell anyone about it. If you tell more people and you reach out for support, you're going to find it. It might take time, but you can't take the L's as like loss of motivation. You have to have more self-discipline and say, okay, next one. There's more fish out in the ocean. One of these fish is going to be mine. So, if I can say it like that, just continue to be communicative. We're very communicative, and we both know where we want to go, and I'm going to do my damn best to help you get there. From a friend's point of view and from a business partner's point of view. And it's the same thing with Turab. It's the same thing with farming. Now Ryan's in here. Anyone else? Antonio. Everyone that is in my circle, and I tell this with everyone, it's based off the dedication that you bring to the table, and part of that is the communication. So, hopefully that was a good answer. I don't know.
Now, would you consider, now you said, reaching to the, million subscribers, but don't you think you should have, obviously,
Realistic goals?
well, not even just realistic goals, but like smaller goals. Like say that, I go to the gym and it's my first time at the gym, right? And I'm lifting, I'm gonna put two plates on the bar. I'm not gonna be able to lift it, you know what I'm saying? So my best bet is to start with,
Start small.
Right. So don't you, like, you kind of just
Yeah, no, that's a great perspective.
So put it off the smaller goal to lead up to the big one,
Yeah, so that's one side of things. But now, let's me and Spence, right? Me and you are sitting in a box, right? And our ideas are just flowing, and they're hitting off the corners, and there's everywhere. Let's catch this one, right? And we're looking at it. That's a good perspective. Now let's expand it, because we can think bigger now that we have more power in us. Let's understand that there's a 2-plate goal, and I just can't get there. Now let's observe it and break it down and keep that goal. Why should that goal be diminished when you can break it down into multiple goals over time? And I think that's what you're getting at here. But you have to also understand that you're then, if you shift it fully on that, losing the long-term perspective. If you keep it that I'm reaching to 1 million, and then you take a step back and you understand, damn, I can't get to 1 million overnight. What are the steps? Identify those steps and then take them to get there. That makes sense. But keep the big goal. Because if along those steps that you take to get there, you're going to stumble across that 100,000 mark.
Right.
It has to happen to get to 1 million. So if you outline those steps, you already outlined what happens when you get to 100,000. So let's now think of it a little bit further. How do we get to that 100,000? And that's what I'm developing with you right now. We're getting content ahead. We're not posting right now because we need videos.
Zach.
So what we take a perspective where we grab. Go ahead.
We have about like 6 minutes.
All right.
And I wanted to get Chris's question in.
Yep.
Hey Chris, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry for interrupting you, Zach.
No, sorry for going off on a rampant, man.
I saw it. I was like, oh shit. All right, what's up, Chris? What do you got for us?
Yeah, I just had a real quick question. Thanks for having me on. I guess my question is, when you're like, I'm at a point now where I'm looking for, I guess people to ask. There's what can I do for everyone who's in, how can I be valuable to everyone here? And also, I'm in a short while, I'm going to be pretty much probably putting 2 feet into, step away from my current sales job, which I'm killing it at right now. I'm actually first in the, I'm number 1 in sales where I'm at Harley Davidson. So, so I mean, but I guess my question is, narrowing it all down instead of trying to herd cats. How could I best, get take care of my expenses to the point where I'm able to provide for my family, and then where I'm doing this full time.
So the biggest thing that I would suggest, and obviously I haven't left my job yet, so take this with a grain of salt, but when you put a fire in the kitchen, you're going to run out of the house, right? So that motivation is really going to strike when you quit. And that motivation needs to be aimed towards accruing the biggest possible network and having a monetary goal. So I always ask people, I'm like, okay, what do you need to make yearly in order to sustain this thing that's necessary? So there's a number for that. You know that, right? Okay.
And reverse engineer.
You have to, and so that should be the bare minimum though. That number should be the bare minimum.
It just gets me out walking around, doing this full time.
Straight up. And at the end of the day, like, I would still multiply that number by 10 at least.
Okay.
Because then you're going to be looking for those bigger contracts. Then you're going to be looking for more stability. Then you're going to be looking for those people. You're going to be looking like you're going to be hungrier when it's times 10. And you're not going to jeopardize the family because it's times 10. So you might fall somewhere in between, but it's still way more than you actually need.
If I have enough time, if it doesn't run out on me, if it fades away, there's that. I'm gonna just drop it. So thank you everyone for your time. Thank you everyone for coming, and I hope to continue this on monthly with you all. Please invite your friends next time. Well, let's expand this by 2 times, right? We want to 2 times the participants. So invite a friend. All right. All right. So my perspective here, and this is a shared perspective. This isn't an answer. This is going to be 2. One is mine, and mine is I'm young, so I have nothing really much to lose. I live with my mother, so I have rent for free, right? So I have more lenience on my financials. So I was able to put all of my eggs in a basket when I lost my opportunity as a server, and I went full scale and invested all of my money into the company and put probably 8 to 12 months of free labor into it, pro bono work, just to get the name out there until I could finally get paid. It took me 12 months so I could get paid. So just before you guys understand, I mean, I have a lot of people that come and get our services, and they're expecting to make money in the first 3 months, and I'm sitting here like, damn, it took me 12. So, you have to understand it's going to take some time, okay? And after that, will you be able to build? So that's why I share with Spence to keep his position so he has stable revenue coming in, as then he's using his 9 to 5 to work towards his 24/7, but he has a 5 to 12 necessarily. What that means is you're taking your time after you get off of work towards your goals on building your company until you're stable enough where you're matching your revenue, so then you can drop your position comfortably. If you want to do it that way so you're more secure because you have a house and bills and a family, then do it. And that's what I'm telling Tarab, that's what I'm telling Spence. But if you're 18 years old and you're living at your house rent-free, like me and Farhan or Ryan, then you can maybe take all of your eggs in a basket and put it all in. But you have to do things financially smart. And the problem I see with what you're about to take is that you're dropping your revenue stream. And the only way at that point right now to create a company and to be successful is to have a revenue stream come in as you put work towards that and build a second revenue stream at that same time. Instead of, I don't want to accidentally get cut off here because of the time, but instead of hurdling all the sheep, you can rush to the solution by forcing yourself into the industry by finding conventions. Screw the friends that you know, unless they're good, then stick with them. Go to drone conventions and you will find the best FPV pilots, and you will then not sell a price because that's what you don't have right now, but you have a vision. And you say, listen, I got these 2 gurus on my team, and we got a location in Ohio and Franklin, and we got a solutions company that we want to compete like Beverly Hills Aerial. You should do some research on them. And then, boom, you go out to these conventions, you target these individuals, and you build yourself a badass team, and before you know it, you're just managing the team as me and Tarab are garnering the contracts. That's how you can find yourself useful.
Okay.
And that's how I think that you can do it in the most safe and secure way without putting you or your family at risk. And that's the last thing I want.
Good deal, man. I appreciate it. And then, also I'd love to learn how to, win contracts as well.
Yeah, man, and that could be a separate discussion that me, you, and Turabify have outside of this, since we only have like 2 minutes. But that is literally a whole separate discussion, winning contracts.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. And I shall try to book another one for next month. Probably last Thursday of next month.
Yeah.
And we'll keep growing this shit, dude. I fuck 2 times. I want 10 times the people there next month.
Yeah, let's 10 next to this.
All right.
Send me a text and we'll schedule something up and try to talk some more.
All right, guys. All my peace and blessings. Okay, you take care of yourselves.
Enjoy.